Listen up, cultured people. Yeah, you love sweet plantains, right? They're so nice and tender and sweet and yummy. Well, guess what? There's another version of plantain you need to know about. Let's go. YouTube, what is good? Que lo que? My name is Ribs and you're watching Hater Cooks. Today we are making mangú. These are green plantains, you heard? Story has it, when Christopher Columbus first landed, luckily, in Hispaniola, the natives offered him this delicious mashed plantain dish. And guess what he said? He was like, this is mad good. So that's where the name mangú came from. All right, let's talk ingredients. The first ingredient, the most important ingredient, is this right here, a national emblem from the Dominican Republic, the green plantain. Next up, we got onions. Red onions are great for this dish because they give it just some great color. We got a fried egg. We got some really good butter, although you can use the cheap stuff. I grew up eating this dish with really cheap butter, but I've leveled up quite a bit, so now I'm using that good Irish stuff, you heard? And finally, we have here vinegar and olive oil. These are both extremely important for this dish. I assume you have this stuff in your kitchen already, but these are both very important, so you have to make sure you have them. All right, so the hardest part of this entire recipe is peeling this thing. I can't tell you how much difficulty I've had with this over my life. I've gotten a bit better, but it's still not easy. So I'm gonna show you how to do this the best way. So the first thing you want to do is cut off the two ends. Put those aside. Then you grab your plantain and you want to put an incision all along one side. Flip it over and do it all along the opposite side. Basically, these are going to be your seams. Once you've done that, go ahead and grab a small spoon from your pantry. This is going to help you peel the plantain. It's not going to be perfect, but don't get discouraged. So you want to slide the spoon into one of the seams that you cut and start to pull the skin away from the flesh. You can kind of run along there and just kind of easily will it off. Once you've gotten most of it off like that, you can continue with the spoon or you can just use your hands. And it should come off pretty easily. You see? So now do that again on the other side. Just kind of peel it off a little bit along the full edge like that. And then take your hands and just kind of run your hand under and then voila, it's coming off. Yo, this is the best plantain I've ever peeled, and I think it happened just for this video. I'm just gonna consider it luck and keep going. Last thing you wanna do is cut your plantain into 4 pieces. That way they cook nice and evenly, but not too slowly either. You go right down the middle, and then down the middle again, and then down the middle again. And there you go, you're all set. 4 pieces. All right, so cooking plantains is very, very easy. You got a big pot full of water here. You fill it up to the top. You take your plantains, put them in there. This water's cold right now. You want to keep it like that because you want the water to warm up with the plantains. Turn on your heat all the way to the top. And then the last thing you want to do is put a ton of salt in here. Trust me, this is very, very important because we're going to talk about the secret ingredient later. You can't really oversalt this water, so don't be too scared. This is going to take probably 30 to 40 minutes, so just let it go on high boil and I will tell you when this is ready to go. All right, so while that's doing this thing, we're gonna make our confit pickled onions. Dominicans don't call it that, they call it cebollitas, but that is the absolute classic topping for mangú. Okay, so you gotta make sure to chop up your onions just like I've done right here. You can either cut them into wheels or you can cut them into long, thin strands like I have. Doesn't really matter, but the classic way is wheel shape. So you're gonna take all of these onions, put them in a nice pot. This pot could be shallow or deep, doesn't really matter, but I prefer shallow. And then what you're gonna do is take olive oil, and I don't have a specific amount here, but what you wanna do is cover your onions as much as possible without using all of your oil. So as you see, I'm still pouring here. Basically what we're gonna do is slow cook these onions. Don't fry them, we're gonna slow cook them in oil. That's why I call it confit. So you're gonna turn on your burner, I would say to no more than medium heat, and let these onions start to do their thing. We're gonna let them cook like this for, let's say, about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna add the vinegar. Remember, medium heat, don't go higher. We're not frying these. We actually wanna slow cook them, get them real nice and tender. Since that's ready to go, it's time to add the vinegar. I'm gonna take a tablespoon measure, and I'm gonna take my vinegar and do it that way. I added 5 tablespoons of vinegar, and that should be enough. This is the kind of thing you do to taste. So if you taste it and the onions aren't pickly enough or they're not sour or briny enough, then add a little bit more vinegar. Just do it to taste. Yo, so the onions are good to go. It's been about 15 to 20 minutes and I tasted one of them. It was perfectly tender. I added just a bit more vinegar because I wanted mine to have just that more of a punch. So we're done with the onions. Turn off the heat, push them aside. Don't mess with them, don't with them, don't do anything. Just let them sit. All you're gonna do is take those later, top them on top of the delicious mangú, and you're gonna be really happy. So our plantains are done. That was way faster than I thought. It's been about 25 minutes at a high boil. I pierced them with a fork and they just fell apart. That's exactly what you want. So this is the most important thing I'm gonna tell you. The plantain water is the secret ingredient. Do not throw that out, man. If you do, you're gonna ruin the whole dish. So there's that plantain water I keep talking about. It's salty, it's starchy, and it's got so much flavor. You wanna pour most of it out, but you wanna make sure to leave a little bit in the pan to help you start your initial mash. In terms of butter, I'm using about 60 grams of butter. I'm slicing it thin so that it melts nice and easily in the plantain mash. Okay, so it's time to start mashing. You gotta start slow at the beginning in order to help incorporate everything. As you do this more and more, a lot more of the liquid will start to bring everything together and you'll get more of an even mash. After about a minute or so, you start to see that you get a bit more of a guacamole texture with some nice chunks, but also lots of liquid holding things together. And of course, you can keep adding just a bit more plantain water until you get the perfect consistency. The plantain water is rich in salt and starch, so it's just gonna help even more in bringing things together into a nice, even mash. So I'm keeping it pretty tame and only serving the mangú with a fried egg. Uptown, where I'm from, we serve that with frying cheese and with frying salami. Get at me. My mom would be so proud of me right now. Look at this. Just look at how amazing this looks right now. This is my absolute favorite part about being Dominican right here. It's this banging ass food. I was gonna say if you like this recipe, but I know you like this recipe, so go give me a like right now because this is fire. If you wanna watch more videos like this and see other food that I'm making, go ahead and subscribe, baby. Until the next video, peace.